All right, so moving on to the final segment, I'll be sharing my NFL off-season predictions for NFL free agency. So, me and the guys are going to cook up something fun for next week because NFL free agency will start next Wednesday. But for tonight's episode, for this segment, I'll be sharing my off-season predictions. So these would be the landing spots that I do believe that the top free agents available will be landing in NFL free agency. Starting off with pass rusher Danielle Hunter. I do believe that Danielle Hunter will end up signing with the Houston Texans. Now, I'm not sure that the Minnesota Vikings will give Danielle Hunter what he's truly looking for, giving him that $20 million deal that he's seeking. I do believe that this could lead to Danielle Hunter leaving the Minnesota Vikings this NFL offseason. But I do believe that a contending team like the Houston Texans would be a good landing spot for Danielle Hunter. Danielle Hunter is coming off the best season of his of his NFL career thus far. But Danielle Hunter playing alongside and teaming up with Will Anderson on the defensive line, that would be good for the Texans pass rush heading into next season. And I could see Danielle Hunter playing for a guy like DeMeco Ryans, a defensive minded head coach, a young talented guy that is a good competitor. I mean, he built what the Texans have done during the rebuild, building that organization from the ground up, just having the second overall pick in the previous NFL draft, and then going 10-7, winning a playoff game and losing a divisional round to the Baltimore Ravens. Nothing to be ashamed about. But this Houston Texans team is here to stay, here to compete in the AFC for a long time. This would be one hell of a signing if the Texans do sign Danielle Hunter and add him to that pass rush to play alongside Will Anderson Jr. in the future. But the next guy, I do believe that Saquon Barkley could sign with the Los Angeles Chargers this NFL offseason free agency. To me, it seems like the New York Giants and Saquon Barkley have truly outgrown each other. And what I mean by that is I just feel like it's time for both sides to go their separate ways. You look at what the team did last NFL offseason when they had a decision to make of re-signing Daniel Jones or Saquon Barkley. They obviously gave Daniel Jones a big contract and tagged Saquon Barkley, and the writing was on the wall from there on out. But it seems to me that the Giants not tagging Saquon Barkley, he's played his last down with the New York Giants. And I do believe the Chargers would be a good landing spot for Saquon Barkley. With Jim Harbaugh taking over for the Los Angeles Chargers, and they will be a contending team next season. I do believe that would be an upgrade, getting Saquon Barkley at the running back position and moving on from Austin Ekeler, and the backfield will be huge for the Chargers. And I also think Saquon being on a contending team like the Chargers will be a good fit for him, but it will also be a good offensive fit playing alongside Justin Herbert, obviously, but being in a run-first offense that Greg Roman is going to run with the Los Angeles Chargers, I think that is Saquon Barkley's best fit. And I do believe that Saquon Barkley could end up landing in LA, signing with the Chargers this NFL offseason. Moving on to the next signing. I can see cornerback Jalen Johnson jumping ship, going from the Chicago Bears and signing with the Detroit Lions. Now, Jalen Johnson is one of the best young cornerbacks in the National Football League. I think his game is really underrated. I think he's underrated, and he flew under the radar playing for the Chicago Bears, with the Chicago Bears not achieving anything much, and the only headline all season long was the play of Justin Fields, really. I think Jalen Johnson really flew under the radar. And I don't see him coming back to the Bears next season or re-signing with them in the next few weeks unless it's a long-term deal that himself and the franchise can agree on. So that's why I do feel like he's going to test the waters and test his luck in NFL free agency. But I do believe that the Detroit Lions are the best team for him to go to this NFL offseason for Jalen Johnson. They are young, they're hungry, they're talented. They just need to fill the holes in on their defense because their defense got exposed in the playoffs, all three of the games that they played in. But I think if they fill in the holes of their defense, especially in the secondary, getting a young, talented cornerback of Jalen Johnson would do wonders for this Detroit Lions team. And it could easily be the number one cornerback for the Detroit Lions for the sake of the future. Now, this one hurts being a Dallas Cowboys fan. I have Tyron Smith actually signing with the Washington Commanders. Now, I hate to see my boy Tyron Smith leave, but I can see the former Cowboy jumping ship and going to a divisional rival, to like a team like the Commanders after the Dallas Cowboys and Tyron Smith did not agree on contract terms. The reports are out that it seems like Tyron Smith, the 13-year veteran, has played his last down with the Dallas Cowboys. And I can see the Commanders they're trying to rebuild something, trying to be a true contender in the NFC. I mean, they just signed Dan Quinn from us. They got the 2nd overall pick in the draft. They got $90 million to play with in cap space this NFL free agency. So I could see him going to a team like the Commanders that could have a bright future and could give him the money that he's looking for. Maybe one last big payday in his NFL career. Now, the next one, I think this makes a lot of sense. I think Kirk Cousins really could end up with the Atlanta Falcons. Now, here's why. I do believe that this is the best landing spot for Kirk Cousins this NFL offseason. The market for Justin Fields is pretty cold right now. We really don't see any teams really fighting for Justin Fields right now, really being very open for trading for Justin Fields right now. And I thought the Atlanta Falcons would beat that team, but right now it doesn't seem like they're really engaged in getting Justin Fields, but we'll see what happens. I think Kirk Cousins is the best landing spot. The Falcons is the best landing spot for Kirk Cousins because he's the best quarterback on the market. And this NFL free agency, he could thrive in an offense with Bijan Robinson, Drake London, Kyle Pitts in the offense. And they still have the 8th overall pick. If you get a veteran guy like Kirk Cousins, take care of that in NFL free agency, you could still go for a big-time splash with the 8th overall pick. Drafting a wide receiver to go to that offense, maybe getting another edge rusher, targeting the defensive line, addressing the defensive line, the offensive line. So I think it would be best for the Falcons to go after Kirk Cousins and then maybe use that 8th overall pick on a selection that I just mentioned. But I think that makes a lot of sense for Kirk Cousins to go to the Falcons. And the last landing spot is Derrick Henry going to the Baltimore Ravens. Now, this is a match made in heaven with Derrick Henry seeming like he's cutting ties with the Titans. It seems like they have mutually agreed to go their separate ways. Derrick Henry being a free agent, Derrick Henry being one of the best running backs over the last 4 to 5 years in the National Football League. He would be a great fit for the Baltimore Ravens and Todd Monken's run-first offense. And the Baltimore Ravens are looking for that guy to lead the way for them, looking for that bell cow back that can lead the way in the Ravens backfield, not having a committee, I should say. And Derrick Henry still has a lot of prime years, in my opinion, left in his career. And I think this could be the best landing spot for himself this NFL offseason. I mean, can you really imagine an offense with Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, the RPO game? If you're trying to defend one of the best running backs in the league, then you're trying to defend the best running quarterback in the National Football League, that would make a lot of defensive coordinators automatically just assume, hey, I got to load the box. Hey, I got to put 7 in the box, 8 in the box to defend the run first. And then it's Tom Monken and Lamar Jackson's world in that offense once defenses think they can zero in on them playing that way. But, I mean, there's a lot more free agents that we're going to talk about next week. Landing spots, but those are my NFL free agent predictions for the NFL offseason. But that is all the time I have for you guys today. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. This is your host, Thomas Tyree, signing off. And I'll see you guys on next week's episode.